Some manuscripts were taken out of the Bible on purpose, like the Book of Enoch manuscript. Some people say that this was done to make the books easier to understand, but the truth is that these teachings were taken out because they are shocking to people. In addition to this mistake, the writings known as the Book of Enoch, the Gospel of Mary, and the Gospel of Thomas were left out of the Holy Bible because they had confusing text that scared the church. Hello viewers! In this video we will talk about the hidden teachings of the Bible. But before we start, make sure to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon for regular updates. Let's get started. Even in this day and age, these manuscripts continue to be a riddle, one that not even the most illustrious scientists of the history of the world have been able to answer. The Gospel of Thomas and the teachings of Jesus that are contained within it will be the subject of discussions in this video. We're going to talk about the reasons why these teachings were removed from the Bible by the church, as well as the messages that are included within those teachings and the reasons why those messages are so shocking to humankind. The Dead Sea Scrolls were discovered in 1945 by a farmer who discovered a jar made of red clay in a cave in Upper Egypt. The jar contained 13 ancient texts folded up inside it that are now known as the Dead Sea Scrolls. It was a time when a farmer in Upper Egypt discovered a jar made of red clay hidden inside a cave. In addition, during the First Council in 325 AD, Emperor Constantine made the decision to erase some sections of the New Testament and modify the portions that remained. This was done because the New Testament manuscripts were beyond their comprehension and it was difficult to take them in. Even though a portion of the manuscript was sent to the Carl Jung Foundation for research to determine whether or not it was in fact the Gospel of Thomas, one of the texts was secretly taken out of the country and sold on the underground market. The words of Jesus that are recorded in the Gospel of Thomas have the capacity to propel each of our spirits in the direction of boundless expansion. The Gospel of Thomas was written by an unknown author. According to what Jesus said, those who come to an awareness of the meaning behind these sayings will not have to worry about dying. It's possible that this is the reason why the document was taken out of the Bible in the first place. This remark, on the other hand, can be understood in a number of different ways, all of which are correct. Therefore, let's investigate it further. This phrase teaches us that we shall not experience death, and at the same time, it shows that the person who learns the interpretation of these sayings is the person who rightly interprets them. In other words, the person who learns the interpretation of these sayings is the one who interprets them correctly. This statement does not make us physically immortal. Nevertheless, Jesus has generously informed us that as spiritual beings we are eternal for life. That means that our lives will never end. There are numerous erroneous interpretations of this phrase, and numerous people have altered the things that Jesus spoke to his disciples in order to acquire superiority, power, and authority for themselves. It is common knowledge that Jesus lived and worked as a teacher. The Bible makes reference to the concept that our beliefs shape our experiences of the world by stating that your faith makes the difference. Jesus' aim was not to establish a hierarchy of superior and lesser individuals. Rather, he sought to establish authoritative figures via the dissemination of his teachings based on the principles of cohesion and power. Also, there's an incident mentioned in the Bible when Jesus returns to Nazareth and is known as an ordinary man, a carpenter's son. That's why people didn't believe the things people were saying about Jesus, including his miracles, and so he failed to perform a miracle in his hometown. Do you know why? Because it's all about what we believe, what we think is true, what we wish to do, and what our actions are in another place. If those who preach to you say the kingdom is in the sky, then the birds of the sky will precede you. If they say it is in the sea, then the fish will precede you. Rather, the kingdom is inside of you, and it is outside of you. When you come to know yourselves, then you will become known, and you will realize that it is you who are the sons of the living Father. On the other hand, if you do not know yourselves, then you dwell in poverty, and it is you who are that poverty. This exemplifies what Jesus meant. Let's look at an excellent quotation from Socrates. He argues that everything new is an old idea that has been forgotten. But how is it possible, since everything is already present in the cosmos and the whole world is full of information? The answer is that we are the ones who limit our exposure, our beliefs, and our root. In addition, each and every one of the difficulties we face was almost always decided upon by ourselves. According to the proverb, "He who seeks, let him not cease seeking until he finds, and when he finds, he He will be troubled, and when he is troubled, he will be amazed, and when he is amazed, he will reign over all. This statement also tells us that there are no levels of inferiority and superiority, and it also tells us there is no hierarchy of importance. He has deliberatively selected it, is already familiar with it, and has spent a considerable amount of time investigating it. Doesn't the idea of going back to nature or even of getting in touch with one's true self seem like something you've heard before? He has deliberatively selected it, is already familiar with it, and has spent a considerable amount of time investigating it. Jesus' followers approached him with a question. Tell us what our end will be. Following the instructions that Jesus gave them, to be like me, be this way, and be this way, he questioned them by asking, then have you figured out the beginning, since you're asking about the end? Because there will be no end where there hasn't been a beginning. Jesus' response was as follows, Blessed is the man who reaches the beginning. He will know the end, and he will not taste death. The idea that we get from this passage, if we interpret it in a certain way, is that the past, the future, and the rest of the things are only an illusion of reality. They can be experienced as sensations, emotions, recollections, nostalgia, or maybe even anguish, but not as an existing reality. This idea is conveyed by the fact that this passage is written in such a way that it can be interpreted in a certain way. The one and only truth may be found right now, so his disciples begged him, Show us the place where you are. It is necessary for us to seek it. And he responded to them by declaring that the one and only truth can be found right here. Whoever has ears to hear, let them hear that a man of light has light inside him, and that the light that he carries illuminates the entire world. Jesus is referring to the light that is already there within each of us. We do not need to look at a specific location to find this light, and we are the ones who decide how much compassion we will preserve in our hearts, how much light we will allow within us, and how pure our hearts will be. Jesus said that if they ask you where you are from, you should tell them that you came from the place where light came into existence of its own accord and stood at rest, and that it has been given forth in their image. It is entirely dependent on the realizations we come to. We are aware that there is no time and that everything is taking place right here and right now. On the one hand, we have time, but on the other hand, we recognize that there is no time. According to another proverb, if you bring forth what is inside you, it will save you. However, if you do not bring forth what is within you, it will bring you to ruin. This is telling us to pursue our interests, do what makes us happy, and meditate. If we don't, we will sabotage our lives. That's it for today. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to share and press the bell icon for more regular updates.